happening now? Did you lose the staff again? What is it? What is it? Oh, whoa! What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. My name is Ben, and today I'll be reacting to Avatar: The Last Airbender Season 3, Episode 13. Now, the last episode was just wonderful. We got so much taken care of, mainly Combustion Man, so I think he's very much dead now, or at least he's missing his arm after falling off the cliff, so I think he's taken care of. But main part of that episode, Zuko sort of joined the group, which I'm gonna find so interesting how they try and fit him in now. I love how difficult it was for him to actually just get them on board with just him being there. They wouldn't even take him as a prisoner, so I just love how difficult that whole thing was. And now, the way it ended, it feels like each one of them have their own little problems with him. You have Aang, who needs a firebending teacher. That's what he needs him for. Sokka, kind of apathetic. He's just going on because Aang needs the teacher. Katara, basically threatening with death. So I'm really looking forward to seeing how they manage to deal with all these separate things with getting Zuko into the group. I don't know if he's just going to be the teacher. I don't know if they're going to actually want him to be a member of the group, like when they introduced Toph, and actually have them as a solid unit. But I'm so interested on what they're going to do. I hope it takes a while. I'm hoping they give enough time to actually just let this happen. I don't want it to be super instant. Yeah, I just cannot wait to see how they manage to just have the rest of the group get along with Zuko. But yeah, as always, if you do enjoy this video, please remember to like and subscribe, as it really does help the channel to grow. And if you do enjoy my content and you want to help support the channel, I do have a Patreon, the link will be in the description. Over there I'm uploading these videos and the full reaction a week in advance, so if that's something you're interested in, feel free to check it out. With that said, let's just dive on in.
I know you're nervous, but remember, firebending in and of itself is not something to fear. Straight
into a lesson, okay. I want to know how good a teacher Zuko is. I don't feel like he would be a good teacher. He's just like the only option.
Any amount of fire you can make.
Kind of something.
Maybe I need a little more instruction. Perhaps a demonstration?
Good idea. You might want to take a couple steps.
Okay, this is cooperative. He's not like headstrong. What was that?
That was the worst firebending I've ever seen.
I thought it was nice.
No. What's happening now?
Why is this happening?
Maybe it's the altitude.
Yeah.
That can affect firebending?
Just breathe and...
What's happening? Why is he, what's going on?
Don't patronize me. You know what it's supposed to look like.
Sorry, Sifu Hotman.
And stop calling me that. Mind if I watch you two jerks do your jerk bending? Get out of here. Okay, take it easy.
Okay, this feels good. At least everyone doesn't hate him still. I want to see interactions. I want to see more of like how they get on with him. Is he not welcome to sit with them?
I've got some pretty bad news. I've lost my stuff.
Don't look at me.
I'm talking about my firebending. It's gone.
Tara!
I'm sorry, I'm just laughing at the irony. You know how it would have been nice for us if you'd lost your firebending a long time ago?
Yes, it is funny.
Weaker for some reason.
Maybe you're just not as good as you think you are. Ouch.
Yeah, still a lot of tension there. I wonder when that will get sort of solved.
Maybe your firebending comes from rage, and you just don't have enough anger to fuel it the way you used to.
He seemed pretty angry that he couldn't do it.
All we need to do is make Zuko angry. Easy enough. I don't want to rely on hate and anger anymore.
You're gonna need to learn to draw your firebending from a different source. I recommend the original source.
How sage talk.
Zuko needs to go back to whatever the original source of firebending is.
The sun.
So, is it jumping into a volcano?
For earthbending, the original benders were badger moles. I ran away and hid in a cave. That's where I met them.
Aww. I can't remember if we've seen this before. I know she's talked about learning from them before. Have we seen this before?
I was able to learn earthbending. Not just as a martial art, but as an extension of my senses.
That's incredible!
It was their way of interacting with the world.
I love that. That's how she learned that. That's so cool. I think we haven't seen that before. I know she's told us that before.
Maybe you can give me a lesson sometime, buddy.
Well, this doesn't help me.
That could be cool. Can he learn from Appa? Appa can fly. Can Aang fly like Appa?
Roku had a dragon, and there were plenty of dragons when I was a kid.
Well, they aren't around anymore, okay?
Yeah, I remember the skulls in the whatever it was, the catacombs in the Fire Nation. Is that a thing for this?
Sun warriors? Well, I know they weren't around when I was a kid.
Oh, something even older than Aang?
So what? Maybe you'll pick up some super old Sun Warrior energy just by standing where they stood 1,000?
Stop poking holes in it.
Either I find a new way to firebend, or the Avatar has to find a new teacher.
Yeah, that wouldn't be good. Okay, so he doesn't have rage anymore because he's changed size and he's just in the happiest spot. And that is, every time Zuko makes good decisions, it always bites him in the butt. First it nearly killed him, and now he's lost his bending.
In our group, typically we start out our missions with a more upbeat attitude.
I love these interactions. He's still, they haven't changed him, made him more positive. He's still just regular Zuko, and they're still being able to bounce off each other wonderfully well. Ooh! This is cool.
I can tell the Fire Sage's temples are somehow descended from these.
Okay, we learned.
I'm getting Aztec vibes. Is this about, is this like Mayan sort of cultural inspired?
A great teacher.
Well... Yeah, okay, good bending.
This booby trap must be centuries old, and it still works.
There's probably a lot more.
Yeah, be concerned about that. Or don't follow like the main path.
People don't make traps unless they've got something worth.
That's definitely Aztec-y. Mesopotamia, is it Mesopotamia? This looks really cool that they're going into this.
I'm not sure what this tells us about the original source of.
That is cool. It looks like a sun.
Something happened to the dragons in the last 100 years. Something you're not telling me.
Got a feeling.
My great-grandfather Sozin happened.
What'd he do? I remember the skulls.
Tradition of hunting dragons for glory.
Oh.
And if you could conquer one, your firebending talents would become legendary. And you'd earn the honorary title, Dragon.
Would that even make your bending stronger?
Dragon was conquered long before I was born by my uncle.
Ooh.
I don't know. Good?
He had a complicated past.
Yeah, Dragon of the West. So he was the last one that did it. When would that ever work?
Wait! It's a celestial calendar.
Ooh, like the thing.
Just like the Fire Sages have in their temple.
Yeah, like the thing Aang did.
But only when sunlight hits it at just the right angle. On the solstice.
Monkey feather.
Just break the stone out and shine it through.
No, we can't. But we might be able to speed time up.
Yeah!
Nothing's happened.
Yeah, it sounds. Yeah, it worked. Awesome.
I don't care what everyone else says about you. You're pretty smart.
What does everyone else say about him? Okay, so they're all calling him an idiot.
Relax. They're just statues.
This is so cool. Seeing like, so there's this whole culture within the Fire Nation that's gone extinct.
It says this is something called the Dancing Dragon.
Is it Aztec-y? Because this all of the nations so far have been like sort of Asian oriented. Did you just hit another booby trap?
Zuko, get over here. I want you to dance with me.
What?
What?
Just do it.
Oh, it's a pattern.
Don't you see? These aren't dance moves. These statues are giving us a lesson.
It's an instruction.
This better teach us some really good firebending.
I don't see any firebending so far. What's that? Is that an egg?
What exactly is that?
It's some kind of mystical gemstone.
Doesn't look like it's got an egg shape.
Remember what happened out there with those spikes? I'm just very suspicious of giant glowing
Aang's right, don't touch the thing.
It feels
Idiot.
almost alive.
It's an egg. Oh, what the?
Oh no, it's another trap!
Ew.
I can't pull free.
It's glue? Don't touch the stuff. And I try and get somewhere near the air. Is this the whole room filling up? That did nothing. Jump up! Oh, your staff! Did you lose the staff again?
I can't move! Zuko, do something!
Me? I can't move either.
Okay, you're both stabbed. You're both stabbed. Is it gonna stop? Okay.
At least we have air. Maybe if we stay calm, we can figure a way out.
You survived that so fortunately. I feel like anyone else, they probably would have died. There's no way anyone else could have managed to jump up there.
You had to pick up the glowing egg.
It's already nighttime.
Who are you yelling to? Nobody's lived here for centuries.
Well, what do you think we should...
Can you glue bend? This is good.
Who's down
What?
there?
Who's that? Oh, they got him out. There's like anteaters eating the glue.
For trying to take our sunstone, you must be severely punished.
Are these sun warriors?
Please, I don't normally play this card, but I'm the Avatar.
I look so smug when saying it.
I know my people have distorted the ways of firebending to be fueled by anger and rage.
How have these guys survived so long and how have they stayed hidden? The whole city looked abandoned. Have they just been, what have they been doing? Why aren't they living in the actual city?
If you wish to learn the ways of the sun, you must learn them from the masters, Ran and Cha.
Ran and chart. Okay, so the sun. I feel like there's a lot. Why can't you learn from the sun? Waterbending comes from the moon.
They'll read your hearts, your souls, and your ancestry.
Hey.
If they deem you worthy, they'll teach you. If they don't, you'll be destroyed.
That's lovely.
This fire is the very first one. It was given to man by the dragon.
Really? Wow.
Have kept it going for thousands of years.
That's incredible. And no one stumbled across this place since?
Yeah, I'm not a firebender yet. Couldn't my friends here carry my fire for me?
Oh, Aang.
No,
I mean, you've done a bit before. I'm sure you'd be able to hold on to
this ritual.
this.
The flame will go out if you make it too small. Make it too big. You might lose control.
Awesome. So learning restraint and control over the fire.
I'm sorry. I'm just a little nervous.
Come on, Aang. Come on, Aang.
It's like a little heartbeat.
Oh.
Fire is life, not just destruction.
New lesson. Amazing.
Up there, the cave of the masters is beneath that rock.
No, dear, that looks ominous. And that's so far away. You have to carry it all that way?
Hurry up.
I can't. If I walk too fast, my flame will go out.
It's already very, it's looking tiny.
You're too timid. Give it more juice.
But what if I can't control it?
It's tiny.
I know you can. You're a talented kid.
Aww. Zuko being encouraging is so weird. But come on, Aang, that looks teeny. Put some more into it. Aang still is tiny. How'd they get there before them?
Your ancestors are directly responsible for the dragon's disappearance.
Yeah, and if they're gonna blame you for that, that's not good.
Might not be so happy to see you.
That's not good.
I wouldn't be.
Oh, great.
Have you forgotten that you vanished, allowing the Fire Nation to wreak havoc on the world?
That's a good point.
Decline of the dragons is your burden too.
Yeah. But is that based on ancestry? I don't think it's based on ancestry. Oh, they took some of the fire. Oh, these are the movements that we saw. This is called firebending. This looks so weird. They're doing this new.
Learned more about fire than we'd hoped.
That looks so tiny.
We're seeing this through to the end.
Yes, please.
We're gonna meet these masters and find out what's so great about them.
What if they judge us and attack us?
Yeah, you'll be fine.
We're the fire prince and the avatar. I think we could take these guys in a fight,
Oh,
whoever
God.
they are.
Don't go in thinking fighting. This is so much different than regular firebending that we've seen. They're actually holding it like hoops.
Chanters!
There's the Avatar theme. So there's the end credit music. Aang's fire is still teeny. This place looks so awesome. They've set the whole thing up to like look directly at the sun.
Sound the call!
Cool. This ain't gonna be human, is it? Nope, not human.
What's happening?
You're... Ah!
Zuko, my fire went out.
What do you want me to do?
Give me some of yours.
I don't think that works like that.
Just make your own.
I can't.
Get some from one of those warriors.
Stop it, Aang, stop it.
Stop cheating off me!
Quit being stingy.
Aang! Great. No, I have nothing. What is it? What is it? Oh! Oh, whoa! It's massive. Blue one! I love how cool this looks. The wind, wow. There's something, oh, whoa.
Still think we can take them?
No.
Shh. I never said that.
Okay, there's actually dragons that are alive. I love this. They look so awesome. I love how they're animated. But yeah, they look giant compared to what Roku's one looked like.
Any moment now, dinner for the masters.
You've have way too much joy in that. I love how the camera's shaking. It feels so insane.
I think we're supposed to do the dragon dance with them.
What?
You remember that?
I think they want us to do something.
Yeah.
Let's just try.
They just stand there. I mean, they're kind of dancing as well. They're just moving around you. And they're following your moves. Oh, this is so cool. Okay, how has this place been able to stay so hidden? You got dragons here, which obviously would have to hunt for food or whatever. You have a whole civilization of people and like a ruined city. How do they not know anything's going on there? Oh, it looks terrifying. Oh, whoa! Fire tornado with like so many colors. Okay, Azula's got nothing on this. Wow.
I understand.
That is beautiful. Can all firebending look like that? Can at least their firebending look like that? That was incredible. He's disappointed.
They judged you and gave you visions of the meaning of firebending.
Wow.
My uncle Iroh said he faced the last dragon and killed it.
So your uncle lied.
Yay!
Actually, it wasn't a total lie.
What did he do?
They deemed him worthy and passed the secret on to him as well.
Oh, so even then he didn't like too evil. So was that before or after his son died?
Since I heard Katara, I've been too afraid and hesitant. But now I know what it really is.
I love what this episode is doing. It's developing both Aang and Zuko so well. And firebending.
Hunting you was my drive. It was my purpose. I joined you. I lost sight of my inner fire.
Ah, I love this.
I have to help you defeat my father and restore balance to the world.
Excellent, you can source your fire from that. Awesome. Even it's a bit more powerful. Go on, Aang! Bit disappointed it's not like multicolored and stuff. That'd have been cool.
We have no choice but to imprison you here forever.
Why? You let Iroh leave?
Just kidding.
No.
But seriously, don't tell him.
Okay, I love those people.
With this technique the dragon showed us, Zuko and I will be unstoppable.
I love how the firebending looks now. It's like it's got like a more mix of air. It's not just hot and powerful. It almost looks like it's got far more movement to it.
We'll just tap dance our way to victory over the Fire Lord. It's a sacred form that happens to be thousands of years old.
I love Sokka just being so comfortable just teasing Zuko.
The dancing dragon.
Come on, laugh with them. No? Okay, not there yet. Okay, this was so good. Okay, this episode was so nice. It didn't just develop Zuko and Aang's relationship, it developed both characters individually and firebending as a whole, and did more world building on top of all of that. I love that this one basically focused on just Aang and Zuko's relationship. You still have that one moment where Katara was very mean to him, just laughing about him losing his firebending. So there's still a lot of tension and quite a bit of hate there coming off her. So I love that that just hasn't been touched on yet, so I'm assuming that's something that's gonna have to come. So they're giving so much more time to getting Zuko more into the group. Toph, I think, got one episode to do it. It was her not pulling her own weight. But no, she was pulling her own weight, but not working with the team. Then it sort of got more cemented with the group. Zuko, one episode right now, just with Aang. He's still got Sokka, Toph, and Katara to sort of bond with. And I love that this one didn't even touch on any of it. But yeah, Zuko's development here, so we know that he's in a better place anyway, and that now is sort of is carried on to his firebending, and he's lost the ability to just bring it from rage because the source from it was always just trying to get Aang. Now that he's with them, and that's just not really an option anymore, his firebending just doesn't work because the source is gone. Having him go back to the source feels so cool because like all the others come from like they learnt it from really the source. Aang kind of has to learn it from Appa now if he needs to learn any more, which I don't think he does because he's a master, but still. He has Appa. Toph learned it from the Badger Moles. Then we have Katara, who learned... Well, how would she... She learned it from the Master, and she learned it independently. So, again, hers, I think, was very close to the source. I mean, how close can you get to the moon? Now, Zuko has got a much deeper connection with his firebending, which matches every other main bender. I love that even visually it looks different. Like, when they were doing it at the end, it looks slightly different than when they normally did it. Zuko's, it was like a fire blast. When I'm picturing it, it looked like a ball covered in fire that was just punched. These ones looked more like breath. They were turning. It felt like the air was on fire. Didn't feel like they were punching something. It feels like they were just moving the air and that air was on fire. I love that it feels more calm, I guess. It feels so much different than just what we've seen, and I just love how they've managed to do that visually. And then this one solved Aang's whole issues with him and the firebending and burning someone, and now he's realised that fire isn't just destruction, it is also life and creation. It gives off heat. It's what life needs to survive. So that this also managed to do that for Aang, and it got him comfortable with actually doing it. He's no longer sort of timid, and hopefully this just... I hope this almost... Because, yeah, they still haven't touched on the last thing in the last episode where he was... What was it? He was kept running away from trying to come up with a new plan to fight the Fire Lord. That maybe is some of the timid stuff, so maybe this worked on some of that. So maybe he's more confident and will start coming up with the plan to face the Fire Lord now. And this basically puts him on the path to learning all 4 elements. So by the end of this, we could see fully fledged Avatar who can use all of them, which will be amazing. Yeah, the world building on top of all of this, we got to see a whole lost nation come back or whatever. They seem so interesting. So they are the Sun Warriors. Their architecture feels Aztec, like the Aztec pyramid, that sort of structure. I could be wrong, but it's cool that that sort of branched out in sort of culture. And it just makes my theories go. So you have all the cultures of the world currently are sort of Asian inspired. Fire Nation, the Imperial Japan. You have Air Nomads, which are Tibet. Can't remember what the other. It was. I feel like Waterbenders were Inuits, and then I can't remember what Earthbenders were. They're all very much Asian inspired. Then the Sun Warriors feel very much Aztec, which is Latin American and Mesopotamian, that sort of thing. That's a whole different like region and culture of people. So now I'm thinking, in the past, did the world revolve around different cultures? So when these people were sort of at their prime 1,000 years or something ago, were the rest of the nations very much Aztec related? Before that, was it maybe European? Before that, was it African? Was it all like going from different nations? And what would the next one be after that? I just love that they introduced this little other sort of culture that then is set in the past. Makes me wonder what other stuff is now in the past of this world. They just made this. But yeah, I love the idea of this nation or this little civilization where they have such a strong connection to firebending and they've stayed hidden for ages. So you have this ruins which have just been left and they've got booby traps and all that. So where have these guys been actually living? Because obviously not in this city, which has just been completely abandoned. They had the golden egg, which I don't feel was... What did they do with that? They didn't really do... That's got to be an egg. So that's just been left off. But you have this whole civilization who's been practicing firebending, who hasn't been found. Love that they've been able to stay so well hidden and that Iroh's the only one that's actually found them before. Like, their connection with dragons just seems so awesome. And, like, the way they animated those dragons looked absolutely amazing. Seeing how they flowed so effortlessly. It didn't even feel like they were moving their wings. They just moved through the air like, I guess, snakes in water or just snakes on the ground in general. They looked absolutely insane. And like what they did with firebending as well, like seeing the dragon fire right at the end, seeing all the different colours swirling together, that was so cool. Because of course you have Zula's blue fire, which is awesome in itself, and just seeing another colour of the bending. What I feel this is just so awesome that because you can make any like sort of colour of fire when you burn a different element. You have green, purple, and this just showed it all off. Makes me wonder if they can sort of bend that sort of colour fire, because Azula's burns blue because it's hotter than regular red fire or yellow fire. But could Zuko get sort of that rainbow coloured fire? Could the Avatar get that sort of rainbow coloured fire? Could anyone get that sort of fire? Because it looks so cool. But it would be interesting if it does just get locked behind dragons. Okay, this episode was so nice and managed to do so much. So I think just to start looking at Aang, I love how much development it gave him. I've been hoping for more Aang development episodes. Because yeah, this season so far has only had about 3 now. You know, the one at the start we had to learn he had to stay hidden and stay a secret, taking hope away from the world. Then there was this one with the dreams. This invasion, I wouldn't call it that much development for him. He got to do, it was more plot related. That was a plot episode. Yeah, this one we got to see him develop past his fear of the firebending and fully get over it. So he didn't just kind of get over it with the whole chakra thing. Here we got to see much more in-depth look at his fear about it and actually getting to understand fire more and get on a better relationship with it. So he can actually use firebending and he's not going to just stop himself from doing it. And he actually, not only is letting himself do it, he's actually enjoying doing it. He's actually found like it to be fun or enjoyable. He doesn't see the harm in it now. Yes, there is harm, and I think he understands that, but he sees he's not torturing himself over being able to use it. We also got to see him become less timid, I think. Because that was a very much thing here. He was very timid and he wouldn't put much effort into the flame. And of course it went out. So that, I think, it at least exposed the problem for Aang, that he is timid and that he's afraid. That is a thing that happened with the last episode where he doesn't want to talk about the plan. I feel like this is a big link to that, where he's afraid to go and face the Fire Lord. He hasn't even met the Fire Lord yet. The invasion went bad and he doesn't want to go back there and he doesn't want to lose anyone else. So that is a big issue for Aang, and I think this one didn't really deal with it but more exposed it. Zuko said that he isn't as timid now because he's using the firebending, but I still think he has a far more to go to get a whole lot less timid. But there's at least exposed something that he needs to work on now. This episode also did an amazing job with Zuko in so many ways. Firebending, his personality, and his relationships with the rest of the group. Yeah, just looking at his character then. So he couldn't use firebending because he changed sides. That's like a very simplified version of it. His firebending came from his drive to capture the Avatar, and that was everything. His whole body was consumed with rage. That's where his internal fire came from. His fuel, his motivation for everything. When that changed, the firebending didn't really catch on. It just dwindled. It just didn't work the same way. Because the source wasn't as strong, he didn't understand it, because he hadn't really thought about what he's going to do next. Yes, he has the motivation to join the Avatar to teach him firebending, to take down his father, but that wasn't really cemented with the whole firebending thing. His sort of rage, yes, it was there, but it didn't have enough time to grow. This episode made it certain that his motivation is now to teach the Avatar, to do all of this, and it made it as strong as his desire to capture the Avatar. So we've seen him flip sides, but now we know that his resolve is as strong as it was when he was hunting him down. Yeah, then looking at the world building, because this episode did an amazing job at that as well. Not because we've seen the world as it is, as it stands, for a while. Now we've gone to see more into the past. Yes, we've seen bits and pieces of the past with the Airbenders, the Fire Nation, but now we've seen way into the past, like a couple thousand years or something. That's what Zuko said, like 1,000 years these guys went extinct. Sun Warriors, who give off very much Aztec Mesopotamian vibes, with the architecture being like the Aztec pyramid looking thing. So they've got that going for them. I mean, like Sun Warriors, Sun Gods, that feels very much Mayan, Aztec sort of culture. So it's so interesting that they've introduced another culture that's far, far different than the Asian culture that we've seen through the present day Avatar. It makes me wonder so much of what the rest of the world was like 1,000 years ago. Was it all this? When did it all suddenly become Asian-related architecture? Is there more into it? Was there a point before the Sun Warrior tribe where it was based on a different culture? After, maybe in another 1,000 years, it will change to another type of culture. I love the idea that they are exploring like the history of it through that lens. And it's just so interesting that they chose to bring in another culture outside of sort of the Asian style that they've been doing and use it like this. It says so many ideas for like what the timeline is like for this world. Will it change over time? Will they sort of branch off from Asian culture like what I guess the Sun Warriors did? The people there obviously branched from Aztec sort of culture and now to Asian culture. Will the Asian culture that as it stands branch off to something else? I love the idea of this. And the creators as well have done such a good job at just showing off the inspiration and the cultural sides of all of this. It does make me wonder, like, who are the creators behind it? How they obviously did so much research, unless they are from those cultures. It obviously shows they're either from those cultures, but they have a very good understanding of like just being able to show it off. I think overall I just love that they were able to explore the history of this world through the Sun Warriors. I think it's such an interesting concept. And I love that they're fine with just staying hidden, and they seem like such an interesting culture. And like they've got this such close connection to dragons. Yeah, firebending. Love that this episode gave a whole new idea and understanding to it. Because we had the whole thing with I've forgotten his name. It was Zhao's master, I've forgotten his name. They said it in the last episode, but I've forgotten. It begins with a J, doesn't it? Well, anyway, so we had an episode with him talking about firebending, saying it was very destructive, and he was trying to teach Aang control, and he was basically reinforcing how dangerous firebending is because of his student that went absolutely nuts with it. This has taken a different spin on it and actually showing the positives of fire, that it is life-giving, it gives warmth, it lets you like live. Everyone has like internal body temperature that keeps them going. That's technically fire. You have inner fire that fuels you. So I love how they gave Aang a better understanding of it, because I think the world of Avatar as it stands have basically drowned out the positives of firebending from what the Fire Nation have done to the rest of the world. No one sees the positives in it. So now Aang has actually gotten to see the light side of it and actually being able to use it in a much better way than what the Fire Nation do as a whole. Like, I love the style that they've done with it. They're immediately going to the Sun Tribe, immediately going to the Sun Warriors. They showed a different way of using it. The hoops, my head stuck on that, where they were able to spin the fire. Wasn't used like as combat. They were just holding fire. It showed full control of it, but also like I guess respect towards it. Because yeah, I don't think fire is something you can like truly control. You just have to understand if you put too little into it, it doesn't work. If you put too much in it, you lose control. Loved how they showed the spinning circles. Like all of them are able to use it and actually use it well. Like then at the end when they showed Zuko and Aang using firebending, it looked so much different than what they've shown in the past. It wasn't like a blast of fire. It felt like just the fire was moving through the air. It didn't feel aggressive. It just felt nice. Like, I'm hoping that continues. So I feel like there's obviously going to be another confrontation with Azula whenever she shows up again. But I really want to see if this sort of visual style stays the same when we see, I guess, Zuko and Aang firebend against Azula. I hope we get to see a visual difference between her bending and their bending, aside from the fact that hers is blue, obviously. But I want to see her like shoot like a powerful fireball at them when they're maybe doing something else with fire that combats it from what they've learned from the Sun Warriors. And now I want to look at the relationship that this one developed between Aang and Zuko. So much, much better than what the last one was. Aang basically got Zuko, he was the most positive about it, but he was, again, I think he wants to be Zuko's friend. That's the vibe I got, but it's definitely stemming from just the fact that he needs a teacher. So I like that they are building this bridge, and they kind of dealt with the most easiest relationship to begin with. I can't wait to see when they go down the rest of them, but I love that they dealt with this relationship now. Zuko, again, I love that they haven't changed his personality. He's still very grumpy and very angry and just miserable half the time, but it fits well with Aang. Aang is all bubbly and just moving around lots, and of course that clashes with Zuko, but it isn't in a negative way, it's in a fun way, it's banter. It already feels quite brotherly. I mean, you kind of have two kind of brother type relationships. Sokka and Aang, I'd easily say very brotherly relationship. They have each other's back. It's the more, I guess, positive style of brother relationship. Zuko and Aang, I would say more realistic brother relationship, where each one is getting on each other's nerves. Love that sort of style of it, because it makes them feel like Zuko is part of the group now, because they are a family. Each one of them have their role, and now Zuko has sort of a tie in with that. So I love that what this did just with him and Aang. They feel like they're on a much better page. It's not just that Zuko is his teacher, it's now that he is becoming his friend. But yeah, then Zuko's relationship with the rest of the group. That seems very, very interesting. So we had a lot with Sokka and Zuko here. A lot of teasing, but it did show that Sokka is fully okay with Zuko being around now. It's not awkward. He even poked him with a stick like quite a few times and just tried to make him angry. So I love that they have that going and that he isn't like annoyed or angry with Zuko. He's just making fun of him at the minute. So I love that. And it didn't feel hostile. It just feels like Sokka making fun of someone. Definitely want more, and I want a closer look at Zuko bonding with the rest of the group. So I hope that isn't it for him and Sokka, but it feels like they're on a good page and better than what they were on the last side. So we have Aang and Zuko becoming friends, but yet he isn't friends with the rest of the group yet. The hardest one is definitely going to be Katara. Even in this, she had one moment where Zuko basically confessed he's losing his firebending. She just straight up laughed at him, and it wasn't like a fun chuckle, it was a full-on malicious laugh. She's very much fully hating him. She had the death threat at the end of the last episode, and now just mocking him and calling out the irony of it all. Yes, she's right, but that relationship is going to be so hard to build, and it makes me so excited for when they're going to do it. They're obviously building it up and teasing how bad the relationship is at the minute to deal with it, so I can't wait to find out what's going to happen when they actually have to sort this out. But yeah, then the dragons look so insane. I love that we've gotten so much sort of stuff on all these sources of airbending. We had a whole thing with the moon. We had a whole season with the whole moon, with Katara and Aang both learning waterbending, and then the whole thing of the lunar eclipse at the end. Was it a lunar eclipse? When the moon sort of died and came back. So we had that whole huge connection with the moon and waterbending. Yue, of course. So much with the moon. Badger moles. So we've got so much on badger moles as well, with how Toph's connection with them. I think that was a new scene that we've only seen there, but I know she's talked about being taught by badger moles before. So I love that we got to actually see it. I'll be ashamed if we have seen it and I've forgotten, but I feel like that was the first time we've seen it, so loved seeing that. And then of course you have Appa, who I guess, so I think it comes out that he's the Sky Bison of the original Airbenders, and then the Air Nomads learned from them. So does that mean, because Aang's got a great connection with him, so maybe whatever happens now with the state of the world with Aang being the last Airbender, maybe they can just pass on or jot down stuff from Appa and just get that going. Yeah, I guess Appa, there isn't much to go on with Appa's role as the source of airbending because he's the last one. Aang is a master, so there's not much to go on there. But firebending, we finally get to see the source of firebending as dragons, but they also linked it so much to the sun as well, and I love that connection. Then seeing the dragons animated gorgeously, seeing how they moved was just amazing. How the camera shook as well. It showed off how powerful they are, how small the characters were in comparison, and I love their faces. They looked absolutely terrifying. But they kind of represent fire in general. They look absolutely terrifying, unbelievably powerful, and yet they created something so beautiful in their flames, and they were so calm as well at the end when they sort of latched onto the rock. And I love what this sort of also does for Iroh. The fact that he came here, and would he have come here with the intent to kill the dragon? Or what? I need more info on that. But I love the idea that he actually came here, was judged by these two, went through the same thing that Zuko has just gone through, and came out of it as well. And that's how he got his name Dragon of the West. So does this mean Zuko technically has one of those names now, since he went through the same thing? Could he just... Well, I don't like that the name comes from killing a dragon. Iroh didn't kill one, as we now know. So can Zuko get Dragon of whatever now? But it doesn't have to mean that he had to kill one. I felt like that would be a cool title for him. Technically, Aang could get that title as well. Could Zuko be Dragon of the Sun? Yeah, I think I just love everything that the dragons represent. I love how they're animated, how just important and impactful their role in this was. Seeing them as the actual firebending master. So actually seeing masters before of all the elements. The moon, mole, badger mole. I keep wanting to call it mole rat, but it's badger mole. Then you have a sky bison, and now we've gotten to see dragons. We've got the whole thing devoted to how and what their whole firebending stuff is. Overall, absolutely loved this episode. Loved just the style of it. I loved how it was a whole episode devoted to firebending, and the colour palette felt very red and yellow and hot. Loved that. I love what it did. It did so much. It did so much for Zuko, Aang, their relationship, firebending as a whole, and world building. I cannot wait to see what comes from this now. It feels like it sets up a lot with just firebending, and I want to see a lot of visual differences between Aang and Zuko and the rest of the Fire Nation and how their bending differs to theirs. And then this also helps with Aang and Zuko's relationship, and I'm hoping that this stems off to the rest of their relationship. I'm loving that it's only dealt with one member of the group with Zuko. I'm hoping it does. I hope it follows that pattern. They dealt with the easiest relationship to do. Now go for the rest. If I'm honest, I want an episode devoted to each one of them to have a relationship with Zuko, because it's gonna be difficult. He's done so much to he's done a lot bad to them, so I feel like it's gonna need a lot of time, and I love what this sets up. They gave one episode to Aang and Zuko, and I'm hoping they do that for each one of them now. This one was amazing, so I can't wait to see if they do that, because that means the rest should be amazing as well. A Zuko Sokka episode, Katara Zuko episode. That one, if that happens, I hope that's insane. But yeah, with that said, that does bring me to the end of this video. I hope you guys enjoyed, and I will see you in the next one for Season 3, Episode 15. See ya!